Well, last week we got the old truck running, or so I thought. Yep, just wait till you see what it does to me. Oh yeah. Now we need to get stopping. Yep, I get to work on my most favorite thing in the world, and that's brakes. So let's get busy. Well, it has not rained much at all today. It's been sprinkling a little bit. Hopefully it'll stay away all day. We can start working on these brakes. I think we'll start popping the top on this, seeing how bad it is, and then we'll go from there. I'm not looking forward to this, I'll tell you that right now. I'm just getting to where I absolutely hate working on brakes. It's just, they're a pain. Oh yeah, she's bone dry, of course. This is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna wipe that out a little bit. I'm gonna pour some brake fluid in it, and I'm just gonna hit the pedal, and let's just see what happens. I hit the pedal yesterday, and she goes to the floor. So let me get some brake fluid after I clean this out. All right, that's pretty clean. Let me dump some fluids in it, and we'll see what happens. Hiya, hiya. There we go. All right, let me go hit the pedal. Well, as you may or may not be able to tell, this is my power bleeder. Pumping the pedal, it did nothing. So we're gonna bleed the master cylinder first. And I'll have you know, both of these nuts, they broke free. I didn't have to spray with nothing. So since I had good luck with that, that means I'm probably gonna have to rebuild the entire brake system. Oh yeah. Anyway, let me pump this up, see if we got any leaks on my little cover there. And then we'll bleed this master cylinder. Yep, she's leaking like a seal, right, y'all? Sure enough. Top of that thing was pretty rusty. Let's just crack one and see what happens. I'll just let that run out. Who cares? I can go buy more if I need it. I didn't see no air come out. Let me do the other one real quick. No air out of that one either. So I reckon let me fix this leak here, and then we'll go around and bleed all four wheels and see what happens with that. Well, here is the deal. I just discovered something that's very important to a brake system. When I got in there a little while ago pushing on that pedal, it went to the floor really easily. It shouldn't have done that considering it's got a booster. There should have been some kind of resistance there. Well, I didn't think nothing else about it until just a few minutes ago. I got to looking, and see that little clevis right there? Well, it's got a pin now, but about 2 minutes ago, it had no pin. No, sir. Don't know where it went. I found that little roll pin in the top of my toolbox, stuck it in there. Went and pushed the pedal. It's pretty hard. I don't know if this is stuck or if it's just, hard from being, on the brake booster. What we're gonna do? We're gonna fire it up, get us some vacuum on that booster, and hit the pedal. Let's just see what happens. Battery's hooked up. Let's see if she'll start from in here. Oh yeah. That fast idle ain't right. It's a little bit too high. Anyway, let's step on this pedal, see what it does. Well, it's acting like it's hanging down. That master cylinder, it may be hanging up. Let me see if I can get one. If I can get one today, we may just go ahead and change it out. Well, it started to rain, so we're probably gonna wrap her up till this rain goes away. But there is one thing I've been curious about. Will this feller move, or are the brakes locked up? So I'm gonna put y'all on a stand. I'm gonna get in there, and we're gonna give her the old heave-ho. See if we can't get it out of this spot here, move it on over here where there ain't no weeds. Well, I just got done ordering the master cylinder. It won't be here for 2 days. I was going to stick a camera down in the gas tank, pull the cap off, and I don't think there's no need. Look at the rust. Holy crap, holy. Yes, sir. I did stick a camera down in there, and it's like that all the way. So, whilst the rain is gone away, let's see if we can't get this tank out, because it's going to have to be cleaned. I'm hoping anyway, I can take one screw loose on this seat and it'll pivot, get out of my way, and we'll pull this tank out. Just a friendly reminder, don't forget about my second channel. If you click below the video here where it says more in the description area, you click more, it'll open it up. There'll be a link to my second channel. There'll be a link to the merch and the address, my P.O. box address if you want to send me something. I ain't got like 5,800 subscribers on the new channel. We got 66,000 on this channel. We got to get them numbers up, fellas. YouTube looks for that, you know, the algorithm and all that. If they see a lot of subscribers, views, likes, shares, comments, well, they say, hey, this channel is doing something, let's promote it. So let's see if we can get them numbers up. Also, don't forget to subscribe. When you hit subscribe, make sure all is checked. That way you'll get a notification every time I put anything out. Anyway, appreciate it if y'all go hit the subscribe. Well, we got rained out yesterday, so we're back today. I hope we can get this gas tank out. Where's a little jumping spider? Look at that feller. Where'd he go? Well, where'd he go? Oh, there he is right there. That little feller. Anyway, what was I saying? I'm telling you, I'll get distracted pretty easily. Got rained out. Today, I'd like to get this gas tank out, get it clean, get it put back in, get the fuel system done. And then all we'll like is master cylinder. That'll be here tomorrow. Hopefully the brakes are going to work fine after we put that master cylinder on. Let's get this gas tank out. Well, there's another little jumping spider. See him right there? What in the world? I got to get this gas tank out. Y'all, spiders, go on. All right, I had to go get this yesterday, and that's when we got rained out. That's called an impact screwdriver. That's what I call it anyway. These Phillips head screws, I could not get them loose. What this thing does, we see it turn. Well, that'll turn when you hit it. You hit it with a hammer, it'll twist, and it'll break loose Phillips head. Well, a bunch of different things. Let me whoop it with a hammer, see if it breaks it loose. Oh, yes, sir, we got her. Oh, yeah. Let me do that to the other side, and I'm hoping the seat will just lean back. All right, that is all the bolts. Let me get this wire out in the way. And then I think, well, I gotta get this hosiery loose. Let me do that. Let me get a screwdriver, whatever that is. All right, y'all are in my way, so it's ready to come out. Ta-da! Well, I just pulled the sending unit and the pickup tube out. It's pretty bad. Look at the float. It's just got a gigantic hole in it. So it ain't never gonna work again. I'm about to clean that up, and I'm sure the rest of the inside of the tank looks just like it. I think what I'm gonna do first is just flush it out with water. Then I'll have to put rocks in it and shake it around. I think it's too tall to hook to my tractor tire. I'll just have to shake it around. I managed to get the tractor high enough to get that gas tank strapped to the wheel. For those who don't know what I'm doing, I filled the tank with gravel. That's what you hear. Well, it's gonna slosh back and forth, knock all that rust loose, and then I'll wash it out. I'm gonna let it run probably 30 minutes at least, because it's pretty nasty in there. I'll see y'all after a while. Well, it's full to that hole right there. Let's spin her over, let it come out the spout there and see what we got. Come on! Oh my goodness, that's a lot of weight. Pretty doggone disgusting. Yes, sir. I think we'll let her run a little bit more with the rocks in it. We'll flush it out again. Well, I flipped her around because one side wasn't getting hit by the rocks. It was still pretty nasty. I'm hoping that'll That'll clean that side. I'm gonna run another 15 minutes or so. I think we'll be done. I'll flush it out real good, get all the rocks out. We'll head back to the truck, put it back in. Let's see what kind of nastiness we get out of it this time. Oh yeah, come on. Still pretty disgusting. I'm gonna wash it out a few more times. Maybe we can get it clean. Well, I rinsed it out several times. It's about as clean as it's gonna get. I'm drying the wooders out of it right now with that fan blowing in it. That's gonna take a while. I'm hoping we don't run out of daylight. As soon as it gets dry, we'll head back over and put it in. The gas tank is back in. It took forever for that thing to dry, about 2 hours. Also, I lost this gasket for the pickup tube and all that. I ain't got a clue what happened to it. Ordered one of them, it'll be here in the morning. Also, I replaced that little line there. And in the other end of that metal line, there's rubber hose. It looks all right. I'm gonna leave it alone. Also, the hose coming from the steel line to the fuel pump took it off. And I'm gonna put an inline filter there. But it's 3/8 hose. I don't have that hose. I don't have a 3/8 filter. I'll get them tomorrow when I go pick up the other stuff. And then hopefully the master cylinder will be here tomorrow. And we'll get the brakes fixed. Oh, I took that master cylinder off yesterday. Let me show you. 'Twas leaking right here around that piston. I miss the days when you go to the store and buy you a rebuild kit for pretty much any master cylinder or slave cylinder. Yes, sir, I do miss those days. Anyway, I got one of them coming. I may get a repair kit for that one if I can find one. Anyway, it's just about dark, so I'm gonna hit the road. We'll come back tomorrow and fingers crossed, we'll be done with this truck. Well, we're back for another day working on this old truck. And let me tell you, the temperature has dropped 20 degrees since yesterday. It's quite chilly, or as I like to call it, it is Chilean. Yes, sir. As you can hear, the wind's blowing too. What I want to do today, let's get the fuel system done. I got all my partages except master cylinder. Still waiting on it. It'll probably get here about dark, so that'll make us have to come back another day to fix that. But let's get the fuel system done. I got a sock for the pickup tube, put it on, get that in. Got to get the fuel filter on up here at the fuel pump. Then we're going to fill the tank up with gasolines. Start it up. I want to see good clear gas come out of that. Then we'll hook it back up to the carb. And we should be done with the fuel system. Let me get that done. Ain't much to video. I'll be back when I get it done. Well, I do believe I got the fuel system all fixed up. As soon as we get this here gasolines in this here tank, we're gonna fire it up, give it the old try, see if it'll run off the new fuel system. There's one thing I completely forgot about: charging system. We need to check it out, make sure it's charging. Well, she was pumping nice clean gasoline, so I think we got us a fuel system. Let me get this here line hooked back up. I think we'll be done with fuel system. I'm gonna check it for leaks, but I don't expect to see any. Just got done working on a fast idle. It was idled way too high when the choke is on. Got that brought down. I thought it was doing pretty good. Well, she started dying out. Well, it finally died. Looked over in the carburetor. There's just fuel all in there. Float. It's hanging up some kind of way. Got trash in it or something. We'll have to take that back off and look at it. Might as well. We were still waiting on the master cylinder. Like I said, it probably won't be here till late this evening. Let's pull that off, head to the house and go look at it. Well, the carb's back on. I saw absolutely nothing wrong, just like Lockjaw did me. Who knows? Let me fire it back up, see if it's healed itself. Well, it seems to have self-healed. I don't know. I think Lockjaw sort of self-healed as far as flooding out like that too. I ain't got a clue. Starting to not be a fan of quadrojets though. Anyway, that's the charging system. That ain't no count, so we are not charging. Let me troubleshoot that a little bit, see what I can figure out. Well, as you might be able to tell, there's something missing right here. Yes, sir, it's called a carburetor. She started loading up again whilst I was troubleshooting the charging system. So I said, phooey on it, pulled it off. We're gonna order a kit. Probably all it needs is a new needle. Hopefully anyway that cures it. So as soon as I get that, we'll fix that. Speaking of charging systems, this, well, dude has the same setup. It's an external regulator. See it down there? I don't have a whole lot of experience working on them, so might just go with a one wire alternator. I'll get it out in a minute, and that'll fix that issue. Oh yeah, almost forgot. I finally remembered my 710 cap. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Anyways, let me go order that kit. Are we gonna get done with this truck today? Probably not. The carburetor's back on, as you can see. It's got a new needle and seat, and my cam for the secondary metering rods, it came in, so I put it in. Master cylinder. What did I tell y'all? I said that thing will get here about dark. Guess when it got here? Yes, the sun was setting. It sure was. I know MLS, fellas, I'm telling you. I know it like the back of my hand right there. Anyway, let me get it on, get it bled. Fingers crossed that we're gonna have brakes, and we'll check the carburetor out, make sure it's not gonna flood anymore, and maybe then we can take her for a ride around the farm. 9 of the 16s. A lot of y'all have told me that you like it when I show you all the knick-knack bullcrap that slows the job down. Well, let me show you this. This here is a brace. It runs back to the firewall down there. It goes on this stud. This mount for the proportion valve, it's supposed to go on that stud. If I put both of them on there, can't get the nut started. I don't know. The only thing I can think of is the flange on this master cylinder is thicker than the original. So the only thing I know to do is just remove this mount from the proportion valve, throw it away, mount that brace to there, and put the lines in. That's the only thing I know to do. It's stuff like that that just, well, it makes me angry. I got to hurry up and get this done because I found a turtle run over in the road a while ago, and well, I just can't help it, but I got to take a little feller somewhere. It's probably about 30 minutes from here where the little rescue is. I think it's called Walden's Puddle. Anyway, I'm gonna take a little fella there, see if they can't help him out, because this shell got smashed pretty bad. So what I'm trying to tell you is we may not get this done today. It depends on how much time I have to waste there. All right, let me fill this little fella up. Then I'll have to get my power bleeder out and bleed it. Power bleeder is hooked up. Let's see if we get any air. Oh yeah, I just heard a bunch of air. Yes, sir. All right, let me do the other one. See what we get out of it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we get lots of fluid now. All right, I'll tell you what, let me close this off, and I'm gonna go in there and just step on the pedal and see what we got. Well, we got some pedal, but you know what? I hear some noise, I think coming from back here, like we got a leak somewhere. Let me get under here and see what I see. Well, I ain't seeing nothing here. Ain't nothing over there. I found it. Yes, sir. I knew I heard fluid squirting out somewhere. That line right there is busted right in that area somewhere, and it's pretty doggone rusty, yes, sir. So I reckon we're probably gonna have to rebuild the brake system on this truck. I surely was not planning on that. No, sir. I was really hoping that I wasn't gonna have to fool with the brakes much on this truck. Hopefully that's all we need to do is replace that little bit of brake line. Well, I'm gonna probably replace it from the front all the way back because it looks pretty rusty all the way up. Let me go get some brake line at the store, and well, I'm gonna go take that turtle to a rescue. Sometimes I wish there wasn't so kind-hearted, but I can't help it. I'll stop at the store on the way back, get my brake line. Maybe we'll get this thing done today, probably not. No, sir, it's been a Monday, let me tell you, sure has. Here is Timmy the turtle. As you can see, he's banged up a little bit. I'm gonna put him in the truck. We're gonna head on to the rescue, see if they can't help him out. Well, we just got on the interstate, and Timmy the turtle here, well, he started stirring around a little bit. I don't think he likes car rides. No, sir. We'll be there in about 15 minutes, bud. Timmy just tried to climb in my lap. I gotta hurry up and get him where he goes. Well, we made it to Walden's puddle. I dropped Timmy the turtle off. They're gonna check him out. They got a little squirrel right here. I think she said he was kept as a pet when he was a baby, so he can never be turned out to the wild. There's another turtle right over here. I couldn't find him a little while ago. And then there's a snake there and a snake there. They're corn snakes, or did you call them corn snakes? Mm-hmm. We won't worry about them. Anyway, I'm gonna head back to the house. Well, he just brought me the hood ornament that used to be on this old truck. He told me the story, what happened to it. Well, he said he thinks his granddaddy put it on there when he bought the truck new. But one day they was feeding hogs, and the truck jumped out of gear some kind of way, run through a fence, and he said his mama got to it, got it stopped just before it went off in that pond. But the fence caught it, and that's what broke the thing. But there it is, a little fat hog. Well, we are back under the truck, and I found a union right here, but it is ferrule fitting, fellers. If you don't ever listen to anything else to say, please don't put ferrule fittings on brake lines. They're not designed for the pressures that these lines will see. Just don't do that. No, sir. Use flare fittings. Anyway, I'm gonna cut that off, flare it. We're gonna run it all the way back to the back, about half the length of the truck. Got the line run all the way back here to the back where the hose hooks to it. Well, that old line broke, and then I can't get the fitting out of this hose. That hose looks pretty bad anyway, and that's really rusty. So I think we'll just order us another hose. Hopefully it'll be here tomorrow. I told y'all we probably wasn't gonna get done with this today. No, sir. The sun is going down, fellers. We're out of daylight. I was trying to troubleshoot this voltage regulator. Well, let me just tell you about it real quick. It's a points type regulator. This little feller here and this little feller here, set of points. They're sitting there jig-jagging back and forth. Ain't no telling how many times a minute. I thought, see that little coil right there? I thought it was burned up. It looks pretty bad. Well, I ohmed it out. It's showing ohmage. Well, I pulled the plug off, and this bottom one right here is brown wire. I think you're supposed to have a switch 12 volts on it. I ain't got nothing. I even checked it right here at the bulkhead fitting. I ain't got nothing. So we got a wiring issue somewhere. I think that is the signal wire to the regulator down here. I'm gonna find a wiring diagram tonight. I probably already got one. I'll study it, and I don't know if it's fused or not. I'll find out though. We'll figure it out. MLS, yes, it has paid me a visit early today. Here's my hose. This end screws into this T right here, and the other end of it right here screw into that right there. Well, if you look at this T a little bit closer, you'll notice that hose, it does not screw out of that T. It's made into it. Yep, sure is. It's just like what we put on the 40. Well, upon further research, this type here is what belongs on a 1/2 ton, not a 3/4, not a 1 ton. Why it's on this, I ain't got a clue why it's there. Sure don't. So I get to order this assembly for a 1/2 ton and probably get it this evening sometime about dark. You know, like the other part we got. And on top of all that, these lines, you know, I got to remove them from the block now. Well, they're froze up. So, knowing MLS, I'm going to break these lines. We'll have to do new lines over to here, over there. You see how it snowballs, fellas, when you go to working on this old stuff? You just don't never know what you're going to get into. Anyway, I'm a little bit, well, this is a little bit aggravating. I'm going to get up under here and order the part I need. And we still got to work on the charging system. I got a temp gauge we got to change out and some other stuff. So let's get busy doing that. Well, I was wrong, fellers. We ain't going to get that brake hose at dark. No, sir. You might be wondering how I know that. Well, it's because we're going to get it tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Yes, sir. Got another day working on this thing. It's been about 4 months now that I think we've been working on it. I don't know if we'll ever get it done. Anyway, I looked at all the parts houses. Nobody has it in stock. And O'Reilly's, they can get it to me 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So this is what we're going to do the rest of the day. I got a new upper radiator hose because I got to looking yesterday. See them cracks right there? I figured I better go ahead and change that out. And we got a temp gauge, and they got it hooked up over here. I don't know why. That's just where it's hooked up. So let me drain the wooders so we don't lose no antifreeze, and we'll do that stuff there, and then we got to get on the charging system. All right, let's get this here hose changed out. Well, I have never in my life. If I get too rough, I'm gonna tear that radiator up. I'll cut you off, I don't care. After I got done cutting that other hose the other day with that, basically a butter knife, well then I found another knife in my toolbox, and it's got a sharp blade on it, so we're actually doing some cutting here now. Get out of here. Alright, let me get these tightened up, and then I guess we'll do the Tipitar gauge next. Yep, it's just rounding off. Figured it would. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this line so I can get my box end on it. Or just pull it out like I did there. Now I can't get that on it. I'm going to get a socket. Yep, I'm going to go get a socket. Well, they piers. We're fixing to lose a lot of water over here, so let me get my bucket over there. All right, we lost about half our coolant, so that's good. Let me get that new temp sensor. This is the third time that I've pulled that through the firewall. Yes, sir. First time I forgot to run it through its little holder. Then the second time, I forgot to run it through the big old screw thing that holds it to the holder. Yes, sir. Well, I finally got that wrench on there. I think it's tight, but I'm not real sure. Let me route this wire and tie it up, and we'll be done with that. Tipitar gauge, it's done. I got some wooders in it, but I got to put some more in it because we lost quite a bit on the ground. I've been looking at the charging system, and well, I studied on it just a little bit last night, and what I deduced from my readings is from the ignition switch to here, to this bulkhead fitting, it's supposed to be a brown wire with a white stripe, and I think it's supposed to be a resistor wire. Well, that wire is burned up. That's why we're not charging. So I got to figure out if I can just run a regular wire and put a resistor in line, or if it's got to be that actual resistor wire. So let me study on that. Since, you know, we're going to wait till tomorrow anyway to finish the brakes. But right now, I think I'm going to fire it up. Let's see, we got the carburetor issue fixed. Make sure that temp gauge works. Fill it up with wooders. And then, well, I guess we'll be done until we get that brake hose. Oh yeah, she's just pouring gas in it. You ain't got a clue on that right there. Once you rebuild a carb, it should stop doing that. Apparently not this one. Well, fellas, I'm at a loss on this carb. I don't know what it wants. You know, it's got a new needle and seat. I've had it apart 3 times. There's no trash in it. Float level is set. It's actually a little bit low compared to what it should be. Well, she's still just pouring gas out. It won't shut the flow off. I don't know. Remember, we got one laying in the seat in there. I may pull it out, pull the top off, look at it, and if it ain't real dirty, we may put it on there to see what it does. Because this one here, well, there's a pond there, there's a pond there, and there's 2 or 3 more that's going to end up in the middle of one of them ponds. I'm telling you, if I keep fooling with it. Also, let me show you what else I've been fooling with. I just, for giggles, turned the headlights on. The parking lights work, the headlights don't. Well, I got to looking at the dimmer switch down here. Pulled the plug off the switch, and it pulled half the guts out of that switch too. So yes, sir, we gotta have a dimmer switch. It just never ends with these old vehicles. Where'd that carb go? I think it's over in the floor. Let's get it out, tear it apart, see what it looks like. Got this carburetor tore apart. This is the one that was in the seat, And I don't see nothing wrong with it. It ain't dirty. I have cleaned it out, you know, a little bit. Sprayed carb cleaner through all the passages. They're all clear. I did break the gasket though. It's very, very brittle. Might take the one off of that one, put it on here, because I'm not going back to the house just for a gasket. No, sir. Anyway, let me get this put back together. We'll get it on the truck. Hopefully it'll work. Here's the carburetor that was on the vehicle. And they are a little different. The gasket is not going to work. You put it up here like it goes. And, well, you see this area right here, this big circle? Well, it is not on this one over here. It won't seal it up. This area, there's a hole here. And I shot carb cleaner in it, and it comes out the bottom. It's some type of vacuum. I don't know what for, because it don't go to anything. But anyway, this gasket will not seal up on this. So guess where I get to go? Yeah, I get to go back to the house. I got 3 or 4 Quadriget rebuild kits. Surely one of those gaskets will fit. I'll be back in a little bit. Carburetor devices are swapped. As soon as I fill her up with some gasolines, we're going to fire it up and give her the old try. Ain't got a clue if it's going to work or not. But there's one way to find out. Well, I believe this carburetor is a little better, with the exception of I got both idle mixture screws turned all the way in, and it still sat there and idle, purred like a kitten. Until, well, it finally did shut off. And now when I started, it won't idle. So whatever the issue was, it must have fixed itself. So now I need to do some adjusting on the idle screws. It's not flooding, so I think that's fixed too. I don't know what's wrong with that other one. I ain't got a clue. We're done for the day though, because I got to go cut some sorghum down. Yes, sir. So we'll be back tomorrow to work on this a little more, charging system, and maybe we'll finish the brakes. Well, we were back under the truck again this morning. I got my new hose, I think, right there. I think that's going to work. I sure hope so. I brought my torch with me too. We're going to heat these fittings up. I hope they break loose from the lines and I don't twist them in two. Let's give her a try and see what happens. Well, I don't normally give safety tips out, but I'm going to give y'all this one. Whilst heating on flare fittings on brake lines, be mindful that the hose that's connected to that T, well, it could blow off. Yes, sir. As you can tell, it blew that one right off. Apparently, this hose is stopped up, so we needed one anyway. And, you know, pressure built up because it stopped up. And it blew that off. Luckily, I didn't get any hot brake fluid in my eyeballs or my face. Let me let these cool off, and I'll put a wrench on them, see if they'll break loose. Probably not, but we're going to give her the old try. Well, I got this one right here loose. This in here is wanting to be stubborn. I just heated her up to a dull red. Let's see if she's going to break loose for me or not. Probably not, but I got to keep trying, because I really don't want to have to make a new line. No, sir, she ain't broke loose yet. I'll report back if that ever breaks loose. Oh, look at here, fellas. She broke loose. Yes, sir. Let me work with it, because it still won't hang up a little bit. And maybe it'll come loose completely. We'll get this hose changed to get these brakes done finally. We have successfully installed a brand spankingly new brake hose on the back of this truck. Now comes the fun part. Getting something up in that little hole to that bleeder that's probably rusted so shut that a blowtorch can't get it loose. Fun times, I'm telling you. I'm having a ball. Well, let me tell you, fellas, this truck right here, been working on my last nerve for the last couple hours. Yes, sir. I'm telling you, y'all don't, I cannot convey how much I hate brakes, especially when it's been sitting for this long and it's this old. I do have good pedal, I got them bled, but the passenger side rear couldn't get the bleeder, or brake line broke loose. So I don't know if that brake's gonna work or not. I guess, like I said, we got good pedal. I guess when we take it around on the farm, we'll find out if we actually got brakes or not. Carburetor, I've turned both idle screws out 2 turns. So when we fire it up, fingers crossed that it's gonna act right. Got it topped off on the water. Charging system, it's going to have to wait. Well, you could put a resistor in line, but resistors get hot. I'm afraid it'll get the truck on fire or something. I'm gonna see if I can't buy some of that resistor wire and put it back. So we won't get to that in this video. Anyway, let's fire it up, see if it'll run. If it'll sit there and run idle, well, we're gonna take a ride on the farm. Well, fellas, she's doing the exact, I do mean the exact same thing again. See this fuel around the accelerator pump shaft? Well, it's running out over here now. Yep, see her dripping? Yep, just flooding away. Let's look inside, see what we get. Oh yeah, see all that liquid? Oh yeah, yep. Exact same thing. Well, the original carb is back on, yes sir. Took it apart. Of course, I didn't see nothing wrong. Dropped the float level just a little bit. Doubt it's gonna help, but desperate times call for desperate measures. I have never in my born days ever had a stock small block Chevrolet fuel pump too much pressure. Never have. I don't think that's what it is, but I could be wrong. I ain't got a clue what it is, to be honest. We're gonna fire it up and see what it does. It'll probably flood out again, but fingers crossed that it don't. I have forgotten this return spring every single time. When I fire it up, buddy, she revs. I mean, she revs to the moon. Well, now the accelerator pump is hanging down. I give up. I give up. There is a good chance that that spring fell out. I didn't put it back in. Yep. So guess what? I think for the 97th time, get take the car back apart. Well, as you can see, the return spring is in the accelerator pump well, and sometimes it'll return, sometimes it won't. Just like that. Well, it finally decided then, but it's been hanging up most of the time I push it down. Well, now that I got the camera running, it ain't, there it goes. It won't hang up. I think what it is, this cup has a tear in it. Where'd it go? Anyway, it's got a tear, and I think it's like folding over on itself. So guess where we get to go? Yep, get to go back to the house. I hope I got a cup that'll fit that. Don't know. Well, as you can see, that is a different colored cup, and it does not get stuck anymore. That's awesome. Let me put this back together, and for the, seriously, probably the 5th or 6th time, let's get it back on the truck, try it again. Well, fellas, the hits, they just keep on coming. Yes, sir. Y'all ain't gonna believe me unless I show you. I'm gonna show you anyway, though. Trying to put this accelerator pump arm on, and got a little roll pin there that goes through this hole here, if I can get it up there. Just like it right there. And then that goes on top of the accelerator pump. Well, there's only one problem. That piece is supposed to go right there. Well, it decided to go bloop. Yep. The only option I know now, pull that other carburetor out. Got to take them both back apart again for the, I don't know, 12th time, and swap some parts. And that's all we got left. If that don't work, he's gonna have to buy a carburetor. Yep. So let me get everything swapped and get it back on. Well, I swapped the needle and seat and the accelerator pump. Let's see what it does. Well, it's been running maybe 10 minutes or so, and I don't see any evidence of any flooding, so maybe, fingers crossed, that we got the carburetor issue solved, hopefully. Talked to the owner. He wants a new brake booster. He wants to go to a one-wire alternator because, you know, he wants it working. He wants it working on the farm. So I'm gonna order those two parts. As soon as they come in, we'll change them out. I just thought I'd give y'all an update on Timmy the Turtle. Text her yesterday, I think it was. He didn't make it. She said he had multiple fractures in his skull, had a broken arm, most likely internal injuries. So I'm assuming they put him down because You know, he was moving around in the truck while I was taking it there like, you know, wasn't much wrong with him. Anyway, may the little fella rest in peace. Well, it's a couple of days later. I got my alternator, got my brake booster, and it has turned cold. Well, Chilean, if you will. I got my coat on, as you can see. Let's start with the brake booster, get it done firstly. Then we'll do the alternator, and hopefully we'll be done with this truck.
Get out of my way, little hose. I said, get out of my way, little hose. Good gracious alive. I don't know my own strength, I guess. Whilst I got this apart, I never could find a pin for this back here. They don't make them. I guess you just have to find a used one in the junkyard or something. So I just got a bolt. I'm going to stick in there and put, you know, double nut it. I tried putting that on before, you know, taking this apart. Let me tell you, you can't do it. No, sir, it's impossible. Not by yourself anyway. So whilst we got this apart, we're going to put my bolts in there because it'll be a whole lot easier. All right. Come on. Oh yeah, I hear fluid. This sucker's about half full. It sure is. See how much brake fluids we get out of this here booster. Oh, it's coming out the back too. Yep. Interesting. That's quite a bit. Yep. Quite a bit. All right, let me see if I can get this here bolt rigged up in this pedal. I got the old carb propping the pedal up this way. So it's good for something. Oh yeah. All right, here's what I'm attempting to do. I got some electrical tape holding this nut to this wrench. So maybe I won't drop it. I can't guarantee nothing though. Well, now I can't get my wrench off of it. I got to back that up. All right, maybe I can get the second one on there. Let's try it and see. I think I got it, but now I can't get my wrench off of it. I gotta have a pry bar. I hope I can get that off of there. Come on. Oh yeah, look at there. All right, let me tighten these little fellers up. We'll be done with this. Yeah. Now, hopefully that won't come loose. Wait a minute, might help if I turn it the right way. All right, it is in place, so let me get these nuts back on it. Now, let's get the master cylinder in place. Oh, wait a minute. Almost forgot the push rod. All right, that is on. Let me get the hose hooked up. And we'll be done with the brake booster. All right, let's get this here alternator undone. Get out of here. Oh yeah, like a glove. Y'all know what bothers me when I'm working on stuff? Tools laying everywhere. I will do what is called a reset. Every once in a while, I'll just pick up all the tools, put them back where they go, and start over. I guess I'm just weird, I don't know. Now the reason I'm changing alternators this is what is called a one-wire alternator. It is internally regulated. You know, the old one was externally. This one is internally regulated. It don't need no wire coming from the ignition. The only thing it needs is that wire right there coming from the battery over there. That's all it needs. You won't have a gauge, you know, the stock gauge. You'll have to fix you up a volt gauge. But, I mean, it's a farm truck. If it quits charging, the battery's going to go dead, and you just leave it where it's sitting until you fix it. Let's fire it up, and we'll check the alternator, make sure it's charging. Evidently, we had this vacuum leak in here. Got that fixed, and now it's idled too low. So let me idle it up a little bit. Y'all look at that right there. Battery is a charger. Oh yeah. Well, I reckon we got everything done on this old truck. There ain't but one thing left to do. Get the air cleaner on it. Take her for a drive on the farm. All right, let's see how she does. I sure wish it had power steering. Sure that carb ain't flooding out again. I'm gonna have to talk him into getting it oven because I've done everything I know to do to it. Yep, she's flooding out again. I ain't never in my life. Let's check the brakes out real quick. Oh yeah, we locked her up. Hopefully we can get across it. Definitely loading up though. They're going to have a different car. I don't know what to do with that one.
Well, we got one more ready for the farm. Yes, sir. The gold carb roster, I don't know. It's still giving issues. I've done all I can do to it. Tear it apart 4 or 5 times, put a new needle and seat, set the float level lower than what it's supposed to be, and she still floods. I don't know. I'm going to try to talk him into getting another carb roster. But for now, she's ready for the farm. Oh, yeah. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe. Share it with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blur, blur.